Hi guys, this is Fazan and welcome to today's session. And first, let's just confirm in the chat if everything is okay or not. Today we're going to talk about some of the common errors while programming with Java. Now, before I start, can you guys quickly confirm in the chat if I'm audible or not? So let me, in the meanwhile, give you a quick tour of our academy, how it looks like. So when you type in Great Learning Academy, therein you have this first link that is there. Just click on it and it will redirect you to this page. Okay. Now, if you click on here and just right click and open it in a new tab, these are all the PG programs that we have. Okay. And some we have courses on data science and business analytics, artificial intelligence and machine learning, management, cloud computing, cyber security, and software development. Okay, now if you're looking for courses that are available for free, we have courses for them as well. Now if you are looking for the live sessions like this one, we have a live session that is today at 4 p.m. that is Excel from scratch, then how to make an AI product, right? That is on February 6 to 7. Okay, 11th February, that is today itself, right? So you can view all the live sessions over here. Okay, and plus these are the courses that are for free. Therein we have digital marketing, uh, graphics design, Python programming in Hindi. All these courses are our popular courses. If you're looking for something that is related to IT and software, we have courses, data structure, algorithms, Java, cyber security, ethical hacking. These are all free courses, and we also have courses available in Hindi. Okay, so if someone is interested in Hindi and he wants to learn in Hindi language, so we have Python programming in Hindi, machine learning in Hindi, all these courses. Okay, so once you are through this, once you have registered yourself, right, and after that, once you have completed it, therein, if you want to get the completion certificate, right, you have to answer 6 questions correctly out of 10. Okay, in order to get that certificate, that is completion certificate. Okay, with that being said, I can see some yeses, and let's get started with this session. So today we're going to talk about common errors. Now, what do you mean by error? Can anyone tell me what is an error? Just write it in the chat, a single line. Okay, that's it. Quickly, just write in the chat what is an error. So basically, if you talk about error, it is an illegal operation that is performed, right? And it is an abnormal, if it checks the abnormal working of your program. Now, if your program is not working correctly, it will throw you an error. Now, errors can be of different types, right? It is different from exception, right? So exception is when you are handling that error. Okay, now if you're not handling that error, that means that there is an error. Okay, if you're not handling, that is what is known as exception, and this is entirely different from that exception. Okay, so if you talk about errors, there are different types of errors. First is the runtime error. Okay, that means when your program is running and suddenly you will get an error uh, during the running of your program, not during the compilation. So these are called as runtime errors. Like, let's suppose you are dividing something. Let's suppose you have a and b, and b is equal to 0. Now a is when a is divided by 0, it will throw you an error. Okay, this is the runtime error, because at runtime it will be detected, and this type of error is known as arithmetic. Or if you want to handle this falls under arithmetic exception. Okay, so this is division by 0 error. Now if you're trying to access some location in the array which is not present, let's suppose the size of the array is 10 and you're trying to access 12th location which is not present, that is also your runtime error, that is array index out of bound error. Okay, if you talk about compile time errors, now this is the second type of error that is there. These are all related to your syntax errors, right? Let's suppose you are declaring a variable and you have declared apple, that is all in uppercase. Okay, and you want to then access, then you are going to access it in the lowercase apple. That means this variable has not been defined. So this is again a compile, or you can say a compile time error, that is your syntax errors. Okay, or else you can say that once if you have written some program and you are missing semicolons and all those things, right? So that is also your runtime error, because this is also related to syntax. So these are all your runtime errors. This is a compile time error. So we have seen runtime errors, compile time errors. Then there is one more type of error which is known as logical error, which is obviously related to your logic. Let's suppose you thought, okay, you are dividing your program, but later on what you are doing a modulus operation or multiplication operation, and you're getting undesired results. Yeah, you are getting you wanted to add two numbers, but you are multiplying them or dividing them. So these are all errors related to your logic. When once your logic is not correct, let's suppose you're trying to swap two numbers, but you have written a program and you're not able to swap them. So again, it is a logical error. So this is a logical error, and this is obviously dependent on you, how you are programming. So this thing is out of the picture. Now basically what we will be dealing more over with compile time errors and logical and runtime errors. Okay, cool. So error is an unexpected mistake. I can say that, not unexpected, but yes, if you haven't handled it, then there is an error. If you are handling it, obviously some errors cannot be handled. Like let's suppose you are out of memory, so that cannot be handled, right? Because your system is not having that much memory, Rithi. Okay. An error is a syntax mistake in a program. You can say that. Again, there are different types of errors. This syntax related errors are called compile time errors. Okay, error is a mistake. Yes, error is a mistake if not handled. Okay, cool. So now let's get started. So now, can you guys quickly tell me what is the problem in this piece of code? I'll try to cover different types of scenarios of errors in this session, and obviously this will give you a good intuition how Java works and what are different types of errors. Okay, so quickly, can anyone tell me what is the problem with this piece of code? You have a class demo, and then you are declaring public static void main. Then you are passing in the arguments if there are any. Then you have declared num1 and num2, wherein you are initializing them with 10 and 20. Then you have sum, and then you have adding those sum, right? And then you are adding num1 and num2, and then you are printing sum. Quickly, can anyone tell me what is the error in this piece of code? Quickly, guys. Can anyone, just even if you're wrong, it's okay. Don't know, as I don't know much about Java. Can I learn? Yes, we have courses available on our academy as well, wherein you will get started, right? If you don't know anything about Java, and you want to get yes, exactly, sum is not declared, and you want to get started in Java, we have courses available on our academy, that is GLA, which I showed you, Great Learning Academy. Plus we have also YouTube courses available on Java, both in Hindi as well as in English, on our academy as well. Okay, just go through them and you will get introductory idea about how Java works and what are the different things that you should know. Okay, plus we regularly take these live sessions on Java as well. So obviously, if you see that this variable has not been declared, now when you okay, yeah, sum is not declared. Yeah, when you commit this type of an error, this is known as cannot find the symbol error. Okay, this is the error and this is the name of the error. Okay, data type sum is not declared. Yes, Pranky. Okay, so this is the error. Okay, cannot find the symbol, and now it is pointing to this sum because this sum is not declared, and then it says variable sum in the class demo. This cannot be found. We cannot find this symbol, and this error falls again when you are just if you see the program, you haven't when you are trying to print this, right? Then also it will throw you an error. Okay, you're again using this, so this gives you two errors, right? One is here and one is here. That is why you get two errors, because this sum is not declared. Okay, yeah, no problem. Okay, cool. So this is your first type of error, when you are not declaring your variables, right? And this is the error that you will get. What? Cannot find the symbol. Cool. So is this clear, guys? Quickly just write it in the chat if this thing is clear. Why there are two errors? Because you are using this sum at two places. Okay, quickly just confirm in the chat if this is clear. Quickly, guys, just write a yes or a no if you want me to repeat this error. That you have to remember when this error, because mostly what happens when we are programming at that time, sum isn't declared. Yes, Sunana, yes. when at that time you are just confused, okay, what is there, what I haven't done. So you just can remember these things, not remember like remember, but yeah, you can keep these things in mind. What are these things? And obviously once you will read this error, you will get a good intuition what this error is. Priya says no. Priya, you see the program over here, what I have written? I have written a program piece of code wherein we have declared num1 and num2, and then we are initializing this sum. But is this sum declared? No, it's not declared. So this is the first error that you will get. And when you're trying to print this sum, obviously it is not declared. This is the second time that you will get this error. Okay, and the error, the name that is there is cannot find the symbol. This is the error. Okay, and it directly shows you where and where. So you see is it is there when you're trying to initialize it and when you're trying to print it. Okay, yeah, sum is not declared. Cool. So now let's move it. Now quickly tell me what is wrong with this piece of code. So this time around we have obviously declared it, right? Now what is the error? Quickly guys. Sum is not declared. Yes, Pragati. Sum is not declared, but for the earlier one. This is error number 2. So what is this? Data type num is not mentioned. Yeah, num2 is not mentioned. Data type of num2 is not mentioned. No, it was mentioned. So basically, if you're saying that it is not mentioned, you see, we haven't put a semicolon anywhere, right? So this is a single line. Yes, Neha. So this is a single line. So this is termed to be like this: int num1 equal to 10 or int num2 equal to 10. So this is similar to this. Okay. Again, sum is not declared. No, Saloni, sum is declared. Sum is declared in this. Someone, Neha correctly mentioned that this semicolon is missing. Okay. So if you see, everything is perfect in this program, but when we are printing this and we are printing this sum, obviously this sum is declared right now, right? So we are initializing it, and this time around what we are doing, we are missing this semicolon, and the error that we will get is expected. Okay, this is what we expect. Okay, we expect a semicolon at the end of this statement. Okay, this printf statement. Okay, is this thing clear? And you only get one error this time. Why? Because there is only one such instance where you are missing the semicolon. Okay, is this thing clear, guys? So I'm starting with easy ones, and then we will move on to much more complicated ones. Okay, just quickly confirm. Is this thing clear, guys? Just write a yes or no in the chat. If you want me to repeat anything, we only have to cover 2 errors. Okay, Salon says yes. Just write a yes or no. Quickly, guys. Pranky, Priya, Pragati, Omkar. Okay, great. Okay, so now let's move ahead. Now, what is the problem with this piece of code? Okay. Cool, guys. So what is the problem with this piece of code? So you have declared a variable num1 and num2, then you are just you are adding them and then you're printing them. Now what is the error in this piece of code? Read it carefully. These errors are sometimes asked even in the interview. Okay, don't think that these are the simple stuff. Usually this will happen. Okay, semicolon at the end of print statement. No, it is there. Semicolon is there. Some variable is declared with double. Okay, Neha says that some variable is declared with double. Typecasting is required. Okay, yeah. Anyone else? We have different answers. So semicolon is not the error because we have 3 statements and all the 3 statements have semicolon. If you talk about variable declaration, each and every variable has been declared, so that is also there. It is declared as double but printing as num. Okay, so now let's see. So basically what is happening, this is a lossy, or you can say possible lossy conversion is there. This is incompatible types. What happens, because this, now let me give you a brief intro. Let's suppose you have 3 buckets. Okay, Now this bucket can store 4 liters of water, this can store 8, and this can store 16. Now, if I am pouring out the water or anything, right? Water, oil, cereal, anything. If I'm pouring the content of this container to this, obviously it will be we can easily do that. Obviously it will be underutilized, right? We will not utilize to its potential, right? But we can do it. Similarly, 8 can be stored in this. Obviously we are underutilizing it again, half of the container will remain empty. So this is possible, right? This can be done, and this conversion can happen automatically. Okay, now why? Because int is there, and then we have double. So you can convert into double because double is much more in size, right? So that can be done. But when you're doing vice versa, when you're trying to put 8 liters of water into this 4 liters of this container, at that time there will be an overflow, and this is known as lossy, possible lossy conversion. That means there might be a scenario wherein you might be losing the content of this, right? Obviously, now if this is an 8 liter water and it is fully occupied, or it contains everything, right? It is occupied to its maximum potential, right? And then you're trying to swap this into 4 liters, then there is a possible what you're possibly losing some data. Okay, obviously then now you might say that, okay sir, let's suppose if we are not using it to its maximum potential, right? Sum is int variable num1 and num2 are double. Yes, so since num1 and num2 are double, now those are these types of guys, right? Num1 is this, num2 is this. Now we are trying to convert it into an integer which is smaller, so that is why you will get this type of error, which is incompatible types, possible lossy conversion, that you might lose the data. That is what is written over here. This is the error that you will get on line number 4. Obviously this will be the line number 4. You see 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, you will also get the line number when you talk about errors. Okay, so this is the name of the file, demo.java. When you try to run this program, obviously the name of the file you see is Java, demo. The class name is demo, and then when you save it with demo.java, right? And then it throws an error. It says incompatible types, possible lossy conversion from double to integer. Obviously then you get to know, okay, this is the thing what is happening, because these two are double and we are trying to convert it into an integer. Is this thing clear? Quickly guys, just confirm. And this type of error you will get regularly. Lossy conversion. Priya, is there any confusion with this term, lossy conversion? Because you're converting double into integer. Now why it is known as lossy? Because 8 liter of water is you're trying to convert. So a semicolon at SOP. We have a semicolon, guys. We have a semicolon at the end. Okay. So there is no on SOP system.out.println we have a semicolon. Okay. Something. Okay, you want me to repeat? Okay, let me just repeat, Priya. Okay, so basically, if you have a container which contains 4 liter, and if you have a container which contains 8 liter of water, and then you have 16 liter. Now, obviously, you can convert this 4 liters of water into 8 liters of water, because there is a space available to store this 4 liters inside this 8 liter, right? So you can easily convert this into this 8, and 8 can be similarly passed on to 16. So this is typecasting, that you are typecasting this integer to double, because size of the double is 8 bytes and integer is 4 bytes. Okay, so you can convert integer into double without any problem. But if you're trying to convert double into integer, now this is a 8 liter gallon or container, right? And this is a 4 liter container, and now you're trying to put stuff of 8 liter into 4 liter. Obviously there will be overflow, right? There will be loss of information, right? So is it possible to convert int to double? Yes, you can convert it, and that can be done easily without any error also. Okay, you can typecast it, or it sometimes happens automatically when you're trying to deal with polymorphism, at that time type promotion also happens, right? You're promoting your type. For example, if you're let me give you a scenario. So let's suppose you have your function and this contains int and int, okay? Now or what you say, int and double, okay? And now what you are doing, you are passing in your arguments as 4 and 4.5. Now it looks for it look wait, now you are passing 4 and 4. Now when you're calling this function, right, it looks for, this is what during polymorphism, okay? Now you're looking for 4 and 4, that is integer and integer, but this function was not able to find this scenario wherein the function, wherein we have a function which contains integer and integer as arguments. At that time it will go to this function, okay? It will say, okay, you have one integer, let me just promote this integer's type to double, because type promotion is possible, because you can without any loss of information, you can promote this integer to double without any loss of information. So that can be done, and that term is known as type promotion, okay? That can be done. You got the point? What I was saying is, Kiran, that is something that happened automatically. Not that you are typecasting it, obviously you can typecast it, but that is something that automatically compiler takes care of, okay, during, and that too during runtime, okay? Okay, is this thing clear? And now what you're doing, you're trying to convert this 8 liter into 4 liter. Obviously there will be overflow, there will be loss of information. So this is what is known as lossy conversion, okay? Yes, typecasting is required at that time, okay? So now what happens, this is your third type of error, and it is known as incompatible types, possible loss of information, or possible lossy conversion, okay? Now let's move on to the fourth error. So can anyone tell me what is the error over here? Great, great, Saloni. Quickly, now you have this what function, and then you have the driver function, and then you're printing it, okay? Quickly, just tell me if any confusion regarding the previous topics or regarding previous errors, okay? You can tell me, okay? Quickly. Read this carefully. Don't think that, okay, everything is correct. You have to think of, okay, are we using these things? If we are, some data type is correct. Okay, yeah, yeah, good, good, yeah. Okay, so now if you observe carefully, we have this num equal to 10 and num2 equal to 20. Now we are calling this sum function. Now num1 and num2, right? We are passing in num1 and num2. So it will be integer 20, 10 and 20, right? We are calling this function. Now we are returning a plus b. But the return type of this function is void. And that is not possible, right? It should be integer, right? And at that time when you commit this mistake, and this is known as again incompatible types, it falls under this category, and it says unexpected return value, right? So obviously you cannot convert something into integer, so that is why you are trying to convert void into integer. So that is what is happening, because you have a void return type, and then what you're passing in integer, so you're trying to convert this void into integer. That is what it says, incompatible types expected return value. Again it says incompatible types expected return value while you're returning this, okay? And then it will throw you an error on line number 9 again. So this error is due to the fact that you are returning over here. This is your error number 1. And then you're trying to expect something that has been returned from that and you're trying to store it in sum. That is also not possible. It says again, void cannot be converted into integer. So this is a void that there was nothing returned, and now you're trying to convert it into integer again, okay? So at that time, it will again throw you an error. So this is why you have two errors, okay? Is this thing clear? Okay, Archana says cleared. Okay, Saloni, is this thing clear? Neha, Mask, Kiran, what? Priya, Pragati, Samurai, Narsema. Guys, is this thing clear? Quickly just confirm in the chat. So why it is incompatible types, because you're trying to convert void into integer. So that is why it falls under that category, incompatible types. And then it says expected return, unexpected return value. Okay, so why two errors? That thing should also be clear, because both, okay, on both occasions you're trying to return something but which is not there. Okay, out of mind. Priya, is everything okay? Are you able to understand? Do you want me to repeat? If yes, just write it in the chat. Okay, so this is your fourth error, and it says what? Okay, prank case is clear. Okay, cool. So this is what happens when you're trying to return something and which is not possible because of the return type that you have set. Cool. So now what is the problem in this case, in error number 5? Quickly, just go through this and check what is happening. You have a class, and then there is int sum, and in that int sum, okay, Archana says no error. Okay, and then what you are doing, you have two arguments, and then you're returning the value, and then you have num1 and num2, you're passing them, then it has been returned, and then you're printing it. Okay, Archana says no error. Is there anyone else who is going to answer this question? Just quickly. If you guys think the same, sir, actually I'm studying this for first time. Okay. Okay, no problem, Priya. No problem. It's okay. At least you are getting started. Okay. In some line, there is an error. In some line. In this line, you're saying that in this line there is an error. Okay. Method should be static. Yes, Saloni. Exactly. Absolutely right. Okay, now obviously this is a static method, right? Now let me show you an error. Okay, non-static reference. Okay, non-static referenced from static. Okay, so you are basically from static method you are calling object is not created. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we were not dealing with objects anyways, right? Right, mask. Okay, yeah, there is an error. Okay, so you are basically from this static method you're trying to call this method which is non-static. Obviously, now obviously when you talk about static thing, it is something that belongs to a class and not the object. Okay, so non-static method, that is some there, right? Obviously where that is your this method, right? Let me just, this is a non-static method, right? And this is something which belongs to an object, and this is something that belongs to a class, because this is a static member. Now you're trying to reference, obviously you need a object, right? Mask, you can say that object is not created because you need an object to call that function, right? That non-static function, but you haven't created it, and you're calling that inside this static method, that is your main method. So at that time it will throw you an error, says that you cannot call a non-static member, non-static method, or non-static variable, anything that is non-static. You cannot call that from this static method that is there, that is our driver method, driver function, that is, this is our main method. So for this reason we are not creating, obviously we will not create any object while we are compiling this program, because okay. So Archana says typecasting. Archana, what are you trying to say? So you don't require any typecasting. Okay, so that is something related to the keyword static. Okay, that is not related to typecasting or anything. Okay, so basically what you're trying to do, you're trying to call a method which is non-static from a static method, because static is the thing that belongs to a class, and non-static methods belong to an object. Obviously when you have to call those non-static methods, you need to create an object. That is what Mask was saying. I guess that is what you're trying to say, Mask, right? Object is not created for that method. And so this is what you get an error. It says that at line number 9, obviously here you're calling this, right? Here you're calling this method. It says that non-static method sum, it cannot be referenced from a static context. Okay, so that is why you get an error. Okay, cool. So is this thing clear, guys? Quickly just confirm in the chat. Obviously now this thing doesn't happen only for methods, okay? This happens for data members, variables. If you have some static variables, some static arrays list or linked list, anything that is non-static cannot be referenced from a static thing, okay? And vice versa. Just quickly confirm in the chat if everything is okay or not. Clear, okay, clear. Okay, now tell me what is the error in this method, in this piece of code. So you have a class demo, and here, okay, Saloni, great. So now quickly confirm if this thing is, what is happening over here. You have a class demo, and then there is static int sum and int a and b. Then you are returning it. If it is not returned, then you are printing it. Public static void main. You are passing in the arguments. Priya Rai says dot dot dot. You have to give yourself some time, Priya. You will be able, you will understand. Obviously you need to have some basic understanding of Java. Type conversion. Archana says type conversion again. Archana, there are different types of errors, not only type conversion is there. You have different types of errors. Quickly, what is happening in this error? Obviously, when we are talking about errors, don't think that there will not be an error. Obviously, all the problems, I will give you a hint, okay? So all the problems that are there will have an error, and they will have an error. Obviously, that is why we are dealing with these errors, okay? Sir, in SOP line end of method, there is an error. In SOP line end of method, there is an error. Why there is an error? You have this system.out.println written correctly, and you have end of method, and then Narsima says fine. You're saying that there is no error in this program? Okay, now let's see what is happening in this problem. Okay, so basically you have this, obviously now the static thing is done, right? You have this method is also static, this method is also static, so that problem has been solved. And obviously all the things that are there, num10, all these things, you see the connection that is there. I think return call is the end of the method, yes, something like that, but yeah. So obviously we are connecting all the things that we have studied so far, okay? So return statement is above, okay, yes, you can rectify it from that, okay? If someone says can you rectify this, obviously you will go ahead and put this statement over here and then return the value, okay? So now what happens over there, can this statement be ever reached? Can we execute this statement ever? This statement cannot be reached, okay? There is no point that this statement print ln end of method is there and you can print it. No, absolutely not. This is what is an error. It says unreachable statement. That means this system.out.println end of method can never be reached, okay? And obviously then it says at line number 7 you have to return something, okay? Okay guys, so there are two errors. Now there is a missing return statement. Why? Because he is expecting, okay, that there should be again a return statement over here, okay? So that is why you have two errors at line number 7. So this is your line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And then there is 7th line, that is here, okay? Okay guys, is this thing clear? BJ says, hello brother, I want to ask you one question. Vijay Kumar, you just have to, you can either go for Java, okay, for Android. These are the supported languages. So you can either go for Java or you can go for Kotlin. There is no such thing as Python that can be used when you're dealing with Android application. Obviously in Android Studio therein you only get two options, Java and Kotlin, okay? Neha, is this clear? Is this thing clear to all of you guys? So basically what we are doing, we are returning a plus b and then we are printing. So this statement cannot be reached, and obviously if someone says can you rectify it, please go ahead and put this statement over here. Return a and b, return, put it here and remove it from here. Okay, SOP of some method will not get printed. SOP of some method will not get printed. Yes, Pragati, that can be never reached. We cannot reach that statement. Okay, so this is the error that you will get. What error? Unreachable statement, and then also you will get another error that is there, which is missing return statement. Okay, obviously he will think, okay, after this statement there should be something that you should be able to return, because you are returning something from that function. Obviously you see the sum function, it says that int sum int a plus b, that is the return type of this sum is int, and after system.end of method you should have a return statement. Okay, so that is why you get this error. Okay, so now let's move ahead and let's see what is the error in this statement, or in this, not in this statement but in this entire code. What is the error? Quickly guys, what is the error? So you have a class and it is named as demo, and in this demo class you are creating an array which is static in nature. Okay, and then you are just looping around it and then you are printing one by one. What is the error? Array is not created, it is created guys. You see this array, it is created. Priya, I know you won't be able, it is hard for you. Sir, I will not equal to dumb. Okay. Okay, so basically now we know array indexing starts from 0, right? If there is an array that is 12, 45. Yes, that is the size of the array is not defined. No, you cannot define a size, that is individually an error. Okay, if you are declaring num equal to 5, or in this case num is equal to 4, just try it out. Okay guys, write a num equal to 4 and then press 12, 45, 12, 10 and 25. Okay, you have a size that you have defined is 4 and you are inserting elements that are 4. You will always get an error because this is something that compiler will take care of. Okay, you will get an compile time error saying that you cannot use this. It says unexpected error before this statement, like this, before this subscript. Okay, that is not there. This is something that compiler will take care of. Okay, that is out of the picture. Okay, that size thing. Okay, so that is individually itself a different type of an error. Okay, so you have 12, 45, 10 and 25. Okay, now indexing starts from 0. Now what we are doing here, we are traversing from 0 to, okay, someone says that this should be there, parenthesis. No, that is not there. This is something that is required for strings. Okay, this parenthesis. For array there is no parenthesis. Okay, so num length is nothing but the length of the array, which is 4. So you are traversing from 0 to 4, including this 4, because it says less than or equal to. So you will have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But is this 4 here? No, it is not here. So that is what the error is. So it says that array index out of bounds exception, because you are printing, obviously you are printing over here, it will print, but as soon as it reaches this statement, it says that okay, wait, you're going way out of the index, right? The array size is 4, you are obviously accessing the fifth index, right? Or in our case, you have 0 to 3 elements, you are accessing the fourth index, obviously, which doesn't contain anything. That is what it says, exception in the main thread, that is java.lang.array index out of bound exception. Okay, on line number 4. So this will be your line number 4. Okay, yes. Okay, Is this thing clear? Quickly, guys. It is required to string. Is that right? Yes, 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 Prashant. Index out of bound. Not bond, bound. Okay. Quickly, is this thing? Are you able to understand this thing, guys? Quickly, just confirm in the chat. Write a yes or no. Quickly. Sir, please repeat again. Okay, Prashant, wait. So now let's suppose in this what happens. Let me just clear out my screen and let me just repeat it. Okay. So basically, what is happening over here? We have an array which is defined, which is static array. We have defined it 12, 45, 10, and 25. Okay, this is our array. Now we know that indexing starts from 0, so these are the indexes. Now someone said that okay sir, this size is missing. Int num equal to 4, that is over here, that is int num and then 4, and then you have declared the size, so size is missing, you have to write a 4 here. But that is individually itself an error. Why? Because when a compiler looks for a static, when he looks on the static array that is like this, he will himself calculate the size, and those arguments are not required. This size is not required, that is the size associated with each and every array. If you haven't declared it right at that time, if you haven't initialized it at that time, this error is this size is compulsory. But in this case, compiler will fill it himself, and if you try to fill it, it will throw you an error like says unexpected thing has happening here, expected that this size shouldn't be here, like this. Okay, now with that out of the picture, now what we were saying, that we have this scenario over here wherein we are having this array and indexing starts from 0. Now what you're trying to do, obviously when you have this length, okay, let me just change the color. When you have this length, okay, num dot length, now someone was saying that okay, we need parenthesis, but that is required for strings. Okay, at that time you will require str dot length, and then you require the parenthesis. Okay, for arrays, for integer arrays or arrays especially, you don't require these parentheses. Okay, that is out of the picture. Now nums dot length will contain 4, because length of this array is 4. Now what you're trying to do, you're traversing from 0, 1 to 2 to 3 and 4, including the 4, because you have kept the condition as less than or equal to. So you're traversing through 0th location, you are printing it, so 12 is printed. You're traversing to 1, 45 is printed, right? Because index is there and you have the element. At 2 you are printing 10, at 3 you are printing 25. Now as soon as you have reached here, now this access you are trying to access here, and that is way out of your array, right? Obviously your array will have index up to 3, and you're trying to access this 4, which is not possible. So that is why it will throw you an error. Once you have printed all those things, it will throw you an error saying that array index out of bound. So to overcome this, can we write nums dot length dot -1? Absolutely, Saloni, absolutely, you can write that. Okay, and one more condition wherein you will get this thing is when you're trying to access one element ahead. Let's suppose you have kept this num, obviously you are not, or you can just write this thing, you can just remove this equal to sign. Now there are some condition when even when you're just writing this less than sign. Okay, so if we will not be there, we'll get the right output. Yes, Prashant, yes, absolutely. So if you're writing nums dot length, okay, and now you're trying to print, but in your loop, what you're trying to do, you're trying to access like this: if arr of I is greater than arr of I plus 1, at this time what will happen? What will happen, guys? Quickly. Now in this case, you have your condition absolutely correct, but in the if condition inside this for loop, let's suppose you have this if condition wherein you are checking if arr of I is greater than arr of I plus 1. What will happen at this time? Quickly, Saloni, Pranki, Archana, Subhash, what will happen in this scenario? Quickly, guys. Any one of you, what will happen in this scenario? So now obviously, now you will be traversing through 0, 1, 2 and 3, obviously not 4, because you have kept this condition, so it should be always less than 4, so these will be covered. But at this position, now your arr of I is 3, and you're trying to access a error of I plus 1, which is 4, again it will throw you an error saying that your array is in array index out of bound exception. Okay, is this thing clear? So you have to keep this thing in mind. At that time you will also keep this thing, num dot length minus 1. Yeah, absolutely, Prashant sir. Because check the index value. Yes, so you are checking one ahead. So at that time you have to use, you can remove this equal to sign, as well as you have to keep num length minus 1. Is this thing clear? The elements in array compare with each other. Yes, compared with one element ahead of it. Okay, so that is the reason that at index 3 you are comparing index 4, which is not possible, which is not there. Yes, same error. Yes, exactly. Okay, so this is your another error. Okay, now what is the error in this scenario? Quickly, you have this demo and then you have the main method. Okay, and then you are trying to print ln num1 divided by num2. Quickly. Okay, great guys. So quickly, just what will be the error in this? Obviously, now in this scenario, what is happening? You're trying to divide 10 by 0. Now anything divided by 0 is what? Undefined, and in this case you will get an arithmetic exception, that is division by 0. Obviously you can right, you can handle this error, so that is why it is exception. Okay, guys, so that is the reason this is an exception. Okay, so for this, one second guys, sorry. So for this reason you have this exception over here, and okay, so this is the exception that you will get division by 0. Okay, cool. So now what about this? Obviously, now let me give you a quick example of another that is there. Wait a second. Yeah, so there is one more example I want to cover before this. So let's see what is the error. You will get this error. Okay, so now in this earlier, let's suppose you have one string, right? In this case, let me show you one more example of different type of an error. Let me just clear out my screen. Let's suppose there is a string, and in that string you have declared this string str, and in that you have kept let's suppose Saloni. Okay, now Saloni. Okay, done. Now in Saloni you have 1 2 3 4 5 6 letters, right? And now what happens? Now if you're doing str char at, okay, what is the character at 8th location? Now what will be the error? Will there be an error? We have defined a string named str and we have kept Saloni in it, and now what we are doing str char at. That means what is the character at this location? Please tell me, in this string what is this characters at this index, what is the character? Obviously this 8 is not present, right? So you will get an error, and this time you will get string instead of array. You will get string out of bound exception. Okay, is this thing clear? Quickly guys, cannot be divided by 0. Okay, arithmetic exception. Okay, yeah, out of bound. Yes, exactly. Okay, string out of bounds. Okay, exception in terms of string, because that is not present. Okay, so this is your 8th error, that is division by 0. And now what will be the error in this program? Quickly go through it. You have the main method, right? And in that main method you have num1 and num2, and then you have sum equal to num1 plus num2, and then you are trying to print answer as well as sum. Quickly guys, what will be the output? So now if you observe carefully what is happening over here, so there are multiple errors. First of all, you are trying to print this answer. Now there should be a string, right? There should be a string if you're trying to print answer. Now you might say, okay sir, this is not declared. Okay, you might say that this is not declared, right? But what happens over here, this is a string. Now you don't have to declare, this is not a variable, this is a string, this can be anything, right? You don't have to this is a string, like what do you say, a constant string, like you say hello world. So this is a string. Obviously this is the state, this is not a string because you are missing one literal. That is, obviously, now what is a literal? These are all literals, right? This double quotes, this curly braces, all those things, single quotes, these are all known as literals. Okay, so obviously this literal is missing, so this is one error. Then there is an except, obviously then he says that okay, there is an expected error at this location. Why? Because here, due to the fact that this, obviously now this print ln is also giving you an error. Then what happens? Illegal start of an expression. Now why is it an illegal start of an expression? Can anyone tell me? So in this expression, right, the system.out.println, because of this it will throw you an error again. Now again it will throw you an error because of the conditions that are above it. Okay, unclosed string literal. Now you see there are 4 errors, but these are all related to only one thing. What is that thing? Okay, what is that one thing? Obviously you have declared each and everything perfectly. You have this num10 value error. No, not a value error. I again told you that this answer is a string. Just like you print hello world, it is similar to that. This time around you are printing answer and then printing the sum. Okay, now this sum is also declared, right? This is again correctly declared. Sum equal to num1 plus num2, right? Correct. This is also correct. This is also correct. This statement is also correct. But there is a missing unclosed system, right? This is an unclosed string literal. This is the unclosed string that you have over here. Okay, now it is, let me just clear my screen. So due to the fact that there is an unclosed string literal, now this is the literal that he is expecting, you will get 4 errors. Okay, plus in all the statements that are down here, okay, you will get an error. So that is why you have this error, the string literal error. Then this is expected, illegal start of expression, and the expected is semicolon. Okay, so all these errors are related to only one thing, that is unclosed string literal. Okay, is this thing clear, guys? Quickly. Yes, unclosed quotes. Okay, so this is your error. So don't think that okay, this is error, these are something some different types of error. These are all related to this thing, that is unclosed string literal. Okay, again unclosed quotes, you can say that. Okay, Prashant, not quotes but quotes. Okay, yeah. Okay, is this thing clear, guys? Quickly, just confirm in the chat. Just write a yes or no. Okay, great. So now this is the unclosed quote. Okay, once you will put the double quotes, everything will be perfect. So this is the error, that is unclosed string literal. Now literal, you will understand, you know that what is a literal. These are double quotes, your semicolons, your curly braces, all those things. Okay, these are known as literals. Okay, so now what is the error in this program? Quickly, what will be the error in this case? So you have num1 equal to 10, num2 equal to 20, then sum equal to num1 plus num2, then you're just printing it out. Quickly, guys, what will be the error in this case? Okay, so now if you see here, you have a curly brace. Here you have a curly brace. Now this curly brace is for this. Where is this curly brace? So that is your error. Okay, so now what is the error? Yes, Saloni, the brackets are not closed. Now reach the end of file, and while you are reaching, while parsing, reach the end of file, and now this is the error that you will get. Okay, Java throws an error saying that this thing is missing. We have reached the end of file, but this thing is not present. Okay, reach the end of file while parsing. So it was parsing, it was going through these lines one by one, and this bracket was not closed, so it will throw you an error, and it is named as reached end of file error. Okay, now there are some errors apart from these errors. There are many more errors, like if you have a null pointer, right? If you have a string which is defined as null, let's suppose you have a string and it is let's name it, you have a string strng, you have a string and you have initialized it to null. Okay, this is null. And when you are doing this string character at 0, what is the error that you will get? Quickly, some should be in double inverted commas. Some should be in double inverted commas. No, no, no. It should not. Right now we are trying to print the value. This is a variable, meet. Okay, not the string. At string, if you're trying to obviously, if you're trying to have this sum as a string and without printing whatever is in this, obviously you will keep it in a double quotes. And that time you will not get 30 as your output. You will get what? You will get uh, in this case you will get sum. Okay, because that is a string. Okay. So what is the error that you will get in here? Obviously you will get a null pointer exception. Okay, because the string is null and you're trying to access that character at that location, obviously you will get a null pointer exception saying that okay, this string is null, what are you doing, what are you trying to access? Some more errors are there, like let's suppose, obviously non-static members and static members, there will be always these errors will come into picture always, because sometimes what happens, not even methods, even if there are some variables, at that time you will get also an error. There are some things that are known as cannot load the main file, like these errors, right? So this is the you have a class and you're trying to uh, let's suppose you are, obviously these return types and all those things I told you, right? You're trying to return something and then the return type is not void. At that time you will get an error. Okay, so and then we have static and non-static, then we have arrays related issues, then array index out of bound, these are all runtime. String index out of bound, that those are also runtime errors. Null pointer exception, those are also runtime errors. So you have different types of errors, but there will be a situation wherein you will get an error which says that okay, you cannot load the main class file. Okay, some of you might have even gone through that error. So that error might have come for you as well, that there is a class that you were not able to find. Okay, so at that time that is due to the fact that the class you are initializing or you're trying to build is not present, and you're trying to compile which is not there. Okay, so these are all the exceptions. Okay guys, so we will try to cover, maybe in the future we will cover more errors like this, but for now this is it. Okay, if you have any confusion, okay, so what do I do for basic concepts? Okay, so for basic concepts we have courses available on our YouTube channel, and we have also courses available on our Great Learning Academy, which I showed you at the start. Okay, so let me just go ahead and show you again. So this is the Great Learning Academy. Just type in Great Learning Academy and we have courses available on this. You have IT and software, go into this, and you see over here Java programming, go through it. Okay, register yourself and start practicing all the things that are there. Okay, this will give you a good intuition of how Java works. And if you're looking for the courses that are in Hindi, right, if you want to learn this Java in Hindi, we have courses available in Hindi as well. Plus we have some advanced PG courses, you can also check them as well. Okay, cool. So this is it from this session, guys. I hope you enjoyed this session, and I will see you in the next session. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you. If you have any confusions, please go ahead and type it in the chat. Okay, if you don't have, I will be concluding this session. Okay. Okay guys, so thank you so much, guys. I will see. Okay guys, thank you so much.